All right. So what we're going to be making now is going to be the wheel for the train. All right. The wheel for the train is a little bit difficult. It's one of the more difficult parts in the model train project. You could see right here is you have a revolve here, and then you have these little cutout patterns, and then you have a little peg that goes onto it. All right, I'm going to focus with just getting this revolve done first, and then I'll worry about these other things. All right, so first thing you want to do, start a sketch, and I'm going to sketch it along the bottom right here. All right, now I see I have a hole that kind of goes in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just do a construction line that goes straight up. And I'm just going to type out 0.25. Doesn't really matter how big you make that, but I would put a dimension on it just so at the end we could see if we are fully constrained. All right. Next thing I want to do is make sure I deselect my construction line here. All right. And I've got my line tool, and I'm going to go ahead and make this general shape. Let's see, it's 0.25 up. It goes over a little bit, then it goes down, then it goes over, up, and then there's a straight line. Now there's a little curve that happens after this, so I'm actually going to make sure I hover over this point here. I'm going to hover over this point. I'm going to click and hold it. If you're clicking and holding, I'm still holding, I'm able to make an arc then. Okay? So then I could just let go and then the arc is made. Alright, so now I want to put in a few constraints. I could see I'm not kind of locked in along the bottom, so I actually want to make sure that this point is right across from that point. So it's going to be a vertical constraint there. So I'm going to go this point and here. Next thing I want to do is, let's see, I've got, this point is actually going to be halfway through this 0.25 because it's 1.25 down. And we're good up and down. All we got to do is get our dimensions in left and right now. All right. I know that we are going with a squared area, and in the picture, it actually looks curved there. You see that? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're doing a square, and later on I'm just going to put a fillet on this. Okay. So after we do our revolve, we'll do the fillet. Okay. So we want to put some dimensions in here. I'm going to start off with the outside most dimension from this construction line to this point. I'm going to make that 1 inch. Now, if a situation like this happens, which is very likely, what you want to do is you want to just kind of resituate your part so it kind of looks the way it should be. Alright, so I'm just going to take this green line, I'm just going to drag it down. There we go, it looks a lot better already. Alright, it's important to kind of just make sure you always have the shape that you want to get here. And if you have any issues, make sure you are fixing it right away instead of putting it off for later. Alright, next thing we've got the dimension from here to here. And that looks like it is right here, from this line to this line, that's 0.75. Alright, from here to here, that's going to be 0.25. And now the hole that goes through the center of this, it's not actually on this drawing, it's actually down here. It's right here. Alright, now since it is a hole, it gives me it in diameters, so I'm going to have to convert this to the radius. So I'm going to just click on the construction line, click on this line, it was 0.28. That was the diameter, so I'm actually going to divide it by 2 so I get the radius. Alright, now I am fully constrained there. I can look down here. It says fully constrained. I'm happy. And we can say finish sketch. Alright, so I've got this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to revolve it. Around what axis? This axis. Alright, okay. Alrighty, so there is my part. You can see I have 90-degree corners though there, so I actually want to make sure I get my fillet going here. So I'm going to click fillet. And what is that fillet supposed to be here? Let's take a look. That fillet is supposed to be 0.0625. Now this TYP, that just means typical. So all these are typically going to be 0.0625. So I've got my fillet right here, 0.0625, and I'm ready to select my 4 spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and that's all the fillets I need. I can click that check mark and I'm good. Alright, make sure you save your part at this point. So file, save as, and save it. Alright, so you know what? I really don't like where my front is right now. I'm going to actually change this up a little bit. What I want to do is I want to have this piece be my front view. So I'm going to say view. I'm going to click on look at. I'm going to click on this front part. I'm going to right click here, set current view as front. And I'm also going to set my home view as right here. So I clicked on my corner right there, right click, set current view as home, fit to view. So now when I right click home, I've got a better view there. Alright. So next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and get these little cutouts going. So I can see that I'm just probably going to make this 1 because that's all the dimensions I have really, and then we'll figure out what we have to do after that. Alright, so it'd be hard for me to make it sketching on this plane, so I'm actually going to go to the back. It's a much bigger plane, it's a lot easier to work with, so I'm going to sketch right there. Okay, so I've got this plane going. I want to go ahead and get a couple of circles going here because I can see I have radiuses right there, right there. It goes all the way around. So I'm actually going to do a circle first. So I've got 2 circles. Alright, next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and make some construction lines here. I'm going to do construction line and do this line that just goes straight out to the right. Alright, and then I'm going to do some actual lines. So line. Uh-oh. I forgot to get off my construction line. So line. Alright, so there we go. I've got my general shape right now. So some things I want to do is I want to trim this up here. Alright, so I can just get this part going. So trim. Now I've got this going, but the problem is if I drag this line out, all of a sudden this line is not going to the center point anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and make a construction line here, going from here to that point, from here to that point, and I'm going to make that collinear. So collinear, this line to there, collinear, that line to there. So now if I ever move this, it should always line up at the center. Yeah. Alright, so let's get some of these angles going here. From this construction line going straight off to the right, up to there, that's going to be 15 degrees. Alright, from this line to this line, that's going to be 30 degrees. This arc right there, that's the outsidemost arc, that's going to be 0.0 or 0.625. So 0.625. And then this last one is going to be right here, 0.375. 0.375. There we go. It's fully constrained in there. It looks good. Alright. So you can go ahead and say finish sketch. Alright, now what's the next thing that we're going to be doing? We're going to be doing extrude. And we're going to cut it. I'm going to go ahead and just say distance all. Alright, we've got one of them going now. Okay, and we can go ahead and get these other ones in there by doing what? Circular pattern. Alright, so my feature, first thing is asking my feature. I'm going to click my feature that I want to rotate around. What do I want to rotate around? I want to rotate around this circle right there. And how many do I want? How many are there? There's 6. So 6, and I can say OK. There we go. Now we've got these pieces going. Alright, our last step is going to be getting the little peg that sits out in the front.